Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again, going for a walk in the woods, doing what I do. This is what I do. If it's your first time here, welcome along. I go for a walk in the woods in beautiful locations around Suffolk in the UK where I live. And I talk about things that are on my mind. I give my opinion, my thoughts on things that are in the public consciousness. If you're a returning subscriber, all 752 of you, I think it is today, welcome back. It is an honour and a privilege to have you all join me for these walks. It really is. Thank you so much for being here, one and all. So before we get started, the last video I did, I re-uploaded with the intro that the G-Man did for me. What an awesome intro, isn't it? It is so, it's beautiful. I can't think of enough. So thank you, G-Man. I hope you all enjoy it. It's a new intro. It's awesome. So I'm blown away that he would go to that kind of time and energy to create that for me. So thank you. Thank you very much. So today, I also, one more thing before we go, I noticed in my last video there was a bit of a camera shake. I have a problem with my foot that I'm hopefully getting sorted out tomorrow, which means that I have to either walk slowly or I have to try and hold the camera extra steady. But I am also ordering a new selfie stick with a anti-shake feature in it, so I don't get the shake from the camera, because it makes you feel a bit funny as you're watching. So I'll walk a bit slower. Hopefully that will take care of the shake of the camera. So, welcome to the new normal. I hope you're enjoying your taste of communism. We've been told that this is the new normal. Get used to it. Now, but what is the new normal? We're going to examine that today. The new normal, or what was the other way some people put it the other day? The New World Order. That's right, the New World Order. Yes, and that was how it was put by someone the other day. So, New World Order, the new normal, same thing. Okay, it's your taste of communism, so that you can get a taster for it. Make sure that you enjoy it. Now, the new normal. Let's start way back, March of 2020. Coming up to 2 years ago. 2 years, okay? 2 years of your life has been robbed from you for 2 weeks to flatten the curve, okay? 2 weeks to flatten the curve has turned into forced things that they're going to stick in you for the rest of your lives. And people don't believe that. Oh, that's just a conspiracy, Chris. That's from that nasty letter of the alphabet that I'm not allowed to say, the 17th letter of the alphabet. That's where it comes from. No, it's not. That's not where it comes from at all. It comes from places like Israel, where they're on to their 4th booster shot now. Places like the US, where they're offering boosters for the most vulnerable, which is what we were told right at the beginning of this whole sticking things in your body program. Oh, it's only for the most vulnerable. You see, it starts out very innocently, like a frog in a pot. Now, we've all heard the analogy of the frog in the pot analogy, where if you, sorry, I must have the Rona. There we are. So, if you throw a frog into a boiling pot of water, it's going to jump out. Of course it will. But if you put that frog in a cold pot of water, and then you slowly heat it up, and you slowly heat it up and slowly heat it up, the frog thinks it's okay. It's no big deal. It's not a problem at all. We'll go along with it. So, this is where we are. We started out with the frog in the pot analogy. Someone come in this way. We started out with the frog in the pot, and here we are. We are at a place where 2 weeks to flatten the curve is now every 6 months you have to get another booster. And that's no conspiracy. That is happening. So we started, as I said, we started out with 2 weeks to flatten the curve, as we all know. It was nearly 2 years ago. And here we are. And it's much like the Nazis back in World War II. Do you think on day one of the Nazi regime that they started putting people into boxcars and taking them off to the ovens and killing them? Of course it wasn't. Of course it wasn't. It was a slow progression, because if they did it all from day one, how do you think it would have ended? It wouldn't have gone the same way. People would have pushed back and rebelled and gone, no, we're not doing that. But no, it's a slow progression. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve has turned into, you will do as we tell you, comply, comply or you don't have work. You you can't work. You can't travel. Much like the Chinese social credit scoring system that I spoke about, some time ago. Must be 6-8 months ago now. Must be. Go back and have a look at the videos. I'm sure it was that long ago where I was talking about this. The Chinese social credit score system, where you are, if you're a good little boy or girl, or however you identify nowadays, that if you do what you're told, if you don't criticise the government, criticise these oppressive agencies, if you do as you're told, if you follow the rules, then you can go about your day and you can live your life. You can have a life. Now, there's a friend of mine in Australia who sent me a document from the West Australian government for the hospitality sector. And this document said that the West Australian government, that's been locked down the entire time, okay? The West Australian government has been locked down all this time, closed borders for all the states. We're fine over here, Chris. We're doing just great because we closed the borders to those eastern states monkeys there. They don't know what they're doing over there. So there's nothing happening here. So now the Premier of the state of West Australia, Mark McGowan, has issued this order that, in the document, I'll try and paraphrase it as well as I can, to say that it was stated that we are looking to open in January or middle of February if everyone does the right thing. Good morning. How are we doing? Morning. We're looking to open January or mid-February if everyone does the right thing and goes and gets the things stuck in them. And if you don't, well, we're not going to open. We're not going to open the state. We're not going to open the borders. You have to be good little children to be able to do that. And people don't see a problem with it. Well, I'll have to do that, People have got their eyes closed to what's happening in the rest of the world. They're looking at their own little bubble. And they're like, well, everything's fine here, Just close your eyes to the rest of the stuff that you don't want to see because that's too scary. Sports stars. What's his name? Aguero, the football striker, Argentinian, plays in Spain. He was just recently carted off the pitch with heart issues. There was an ice hockey player, had a heart attack on the ice. NFL referee, heart attack after the game. NBA stars, blood clots, all sorts of issues all around the world. But that's not talked about. Good morning. How are we doing? Morning. That's not talked about. That's not discussed because we weren't allowed to discuss that. Because if you discuss that, that's too scary for people. We don't want to scare them and wake them from their slumber. Now, I talk about this stuff in terms of you can't say the word awake. Are you awake? Because then people automatically get that confused with the term woke, and woke is ridiculous. That's the only word I can use for it. Woke is ridiculous. Woke is this whole idea that I'm completely accepting of everything that you tell me. Okay, that's what woke is. I'm accepting of everything you tell me. Now, if you notice there's a pattern going through all the things that are happening in the world right now, okay, and that pattern is, oh yes, so we're accepting and we're loving of everybody except the people who don't believe what we believe. It is this inclusive society, and it's much like assimilate to the Borg. Resistance is futile. You'll give in eventually. You will. You'll give in eventually. If you can't feed your family, if you haven't got a roof over your head anymore, if you can't buy fuel, if you can't shop, if you can't travel, you'll give in. I won't. I won't. I will never give in to this. And it's hard. It is very, very hard when I've got friends, I've got family. My mother abused me when I spoke to her a week ago. I usually call my mother every week and say hello and see how she is and check up on her, check in on her. She abused me. So I said, okay, you call me when you're ready to talk, not get abusive. We are being divided Constantly. Constantly. Our loved ones are fighting against us because, well, I've had it and I'm just fine. Okay. Well, if everyone just dropped dead on the spot, I think probably people would go, hold on a minute, I'm not having that. It's more like a soft, slowly, you know, more people are getting these rare forms of cancer from somewhere. No one knows where. It's all just popping up out of nowhere. You know, people are having heart attacks, young people, 20-year-olds at a rap concert. Oh, we know, but they were crushed in a stampede, Chris. Okay. Of course they were. Of course they were. Justification of lunacy is just as lunacy as the lunacy itself. You know, and it's being justified by seemingly intelligent people. But there's something, and we've spoken about it before, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is where you have two opposing ideas that your brain can't possibly process both. So once you know something is true, that's it. I know it. I know this is true, and you can't tell me otherwise. I know it. With every ounce of my being, I know this is true. Once you know something is true, there's nothing. Even empirical evidence that you provide and say, there it is. This is a direct opposite of what you think. Here's the evidence. Here's the numbers. Here's the statistical data. Here's the science. No. Your brain can't accept it because it can't accept two opposing viewpoints of the same concept. No, aliens don't exist. Well, here's a picture of a UAP, they call them now. UAP. Unidentified aerial phenomena. It's not UFOs anymore because that's too fringe. Okay? So, UAPs. So once someone says, there's no such thing as aliens or interdimensional beings, whichever that might be, but once you present evidence, it can't compute. Oh, that's just a conspiracy. And we've spoken about it before. Where did the word conspiracy theory come from? Who coined that phrase? That was the CIA after the JFK assassination. Now, what's a really interesting show last night, an interview, was amazing, over at Red Pill TV. I will drop the link in the description below, about something called the Mandela Effect. Okay, now I've spoken about this before, and when Michael was on from NASA, we spoke briefly about it as well. And the Mandela Effect is where there are changes in our reality, if you want to call it that, that are subtle, but that are in the mainstream enough that enough people know it and have seen it to conceptualize it. And the biggest one for me has always been Snow White. You know, there's many others, and this show, I mean, it went through, it was just over an hour, I think. And the gentleman who was presenting the information talked about things like the Hindenburg and all these kind of things, and it's incredible that all these changes are around us, and people don't take any notice of them. But the one for me was Snow White, because I grew up watching Snow White. I'm pretty sure that most of us did. And we all know, it's not a misremembering, it's not a group misremembering or any other nonsense that they try and palm it off as. But it is, it's been changed. The Matrix has been changed. I love The Matrix, by the way. If you don't know, by the intro and by every single video I talk about The Matrix, we are living in that, right? And the Snow White thing is, ask yourself right now, before I even say it, just ask yourself, what does the queen or the witch or whatever she is, what does she say to the mirror? What words does she say to the mirror? I'll give you a second. Okay, you got it? Okay. We all know it, that it says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all, right? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people from the Netherlands. Hello, people from the Netherlands. You're awesome. Thank you so much for being here. You people are awesome, and you're keeping up the good fight, so thank you to everyone over there, and everyone around the world who joins me for these. So, but the people in the Netherlands, you're always there. It's amazing to have you along, it really is. So keep up the good fight over there. So what I mean is that if in your language maybe it's slightly different, but in the English language, Snow White, in that movie, she always says to the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" Right? But yet if you go and watch the movie, and I have, and when I spoke to Michael, he said he's got a VHS copy, he's going to go and check it. So next time I talk to him, I'm definitely going to check back on that. In the movie it says, "Magic mirror on the wall." And we all know it's not a misremembering, it's not a misquoting, it's not a, oh yes, you all just forgot what it actually says. We all know it does. There was even a Hollywood movie called Mirror, Mirror. And it's these changes, these glitches in the Matrix, these, you know, these events that take place that most people it passes by them. They don't see it, they don't recognize it, they don't, because it's all just, oh, that doesn't mean anything. And I understand why they would think that. I get it. I understand why people just write these kind of things off and go, well, you know, it doesn't mean anything. But what do you do with that information? I mean, really, what's it good for? To see and notice these kind of things where things are being changed in our reality, and I use that term very loosely, things are being changed in our reality, and it's seemingly going unnoticed. Now, as we move through this period of uncertainty, doubt, fear, worry, panic, turmoil, changes to our reality, our matrix that we live in, we have to understand that this is for a very important reason. And this is because it's easy to get fearful right now. It is, you know, with everything that's going on, and, you know, there's all sorts of craziness going on right now. You know, Project Veritas has just been raided by the FBI for exposing the diary of, I think it was Brandon's daughter, the Brandon regime. His daughter's diary that suggested that there was inappropriate, it's the easiest way I can put it. Oh, look, some deer in the background there, I hope you can see. They're gone. Well, there they are, right up the back there. Can you see them? Don't know whether you can see it. They're beautiful. Anyway, there's 4 of them. Beautiful, beautiful place I live in. It really is incredible. That the Brandon regime, his daughter's diary suggested there was inappropriate behaviour in the house. Namely that the Brandon person is a pedo. Yeah, along with, like I've said, along with a lot of Hollywood, along with a lot of music stars, and people like to see the Barclays Bank CEO, who had to stand down from his position. Why? Because of his links to Jeffrey Epstein, who didn't kill himself, and who's not dead, by the way. We're going to be moving through this period, and this is I've said it in many videos before, and I'll say it again. Everything is happening, and all these videos that I've done, if you look for the common thread, the common link in all of these videos that I do, and there is one, everything that's happening now is for a reason. It is to shake everybody. It's much like Morpheus coming and finding Neo in the Matrix, and as he says when he pulls Neo out, he says, you know, I'm sorry, we don't normally wait this long to pull people out because it's very hard for your mind to adjust. You know, most people can't let this reality that they know go. There's so, you know, most of the, like a quote on my Facebook page, and you know, my favorite quote from The Matrix is, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. They're so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they'll fight to protect it. Look around you. Look what's happening. The state, the deep state, the cabal, whatever name you want to put on this corrupt, evil filth that's running this reality as we experience it, have managed to turn people against each other, friends, family, and managed to get them on side because they're so fearful. They're so fearful. This fear has just been drilled into people using the media, this propaganda mouthpieces the government and fake scientists who wear a white coat. These are the same scientists like Fauci, who call themselves scientists, who would go sink to the lowest of the low by cutting out puppies' voice boxes and putting their head in a box with a sandfly that's eventually going to kill them, just to see the effects. Torturing puppies to see the effect. Where's PETA? Where's the protection of animals groups? Where are they? Why aren't they outraged? Why isn't there protests everywhere about this? So these are the scientists that we're listening to. They call themselves scientists. They're really, I mean, I don't know what word to use. They're evil. They're evil. They're as bad as Joseph Mengele. Yeah, and this Fauci, the man is just sick. He's twisted. You know, what he was doing with AIDS in the 80s. Oh, AIDS was manufactured as well, by the way, in a lab. Sorry to burst your bubble on that one, folks, but that's the real deal. That's the fact. Completely curable too. Ask Magic Johnson. Oh, you don't know who that is? Basketball player that was diagnosed with AIDS, 90s or early 2000s, I think, completely cured. It's amazing what money can do, isn't it? But you, the average swine, the average peasant, the average lower class citizen that is worthy of nothing, even though, as we've discussed before, you are the building blocks. You are you are the mainstay of everything that is real in this reality. You are the GDP of the country. You are everything. You have to know your own worth. You have to know just how important you are. So as we see this reality start to break down, and everything that you thought that you knew starts to unravel, or those people around you anyway, maybe you're here because you start to see something, or you have seen something. Maybe somebody shared this video with you because you've been asking questions and going, I don't understand what's happening. You need to understand that the world is like the Matrix has been pulled over your eyes. The reality is that none of it's real. I did a video some time ago called the Great Awakening. It was all about the power of words and how words are used to enslave you and entrap you. And these words were thought up and used as weapons against you. Now, we're going to be talking about this in a coming talk with a guy called Steve, where we talk about how words are used in relation to your birth certificate and your enslavement through your birth certificate through maritime law. Now, that's quite a complex subject to get into. I'm not going to try and touch on it today. It's going to be probably an hour long interview, maybe a 2 hour long interview with Steve. Maybe we'll break it up into a couple. But the reality that you think that you know is not real. And, I think it was Plato that said, true knowledge or true wisdom comes from knowing that you know nothing. But Plato also said, no one is more hated than the truth teller. Now, I don't know the truth. I don't claim to know the truth. I mean, I'm just as questioning as you are. I question everything, and I do mean everything. But while we're talking about questioning everything, look at this. Now, whether you can see in the background there, that's the ocean out there. Beautiful, beautiful place I live. Absolutely incredible. I don't claim to know the truth. I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning my reality, just as probably you are. That's why you're here. You're questioning what you're being told. We're questioning the whole nature of this reality that we live in, because it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense because it's starting to break down, which is why I spoke about the Mandela Effect and all this news that's coming out and these whistleblowers and or fake whistleblowers, and there's so much misinformation, disinformation, that no one knows the truth of anything anymore. And that's deliberate, because if people are confused, and they'll often be fearful, and when people are fearful, they'll make decisions based on that fear, which won't benefit them, which is why people are lining up to get this thing stuck in them without any knowledge, without any questioning, without any thought whatsoever. Just going, well, yep, it's good for me. And the state tells me that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. The new normal. The new normal is comply or you won't have a life. Assimilate with the Borg. Resistance is futile. This is what's going on. Where it's an assimilation. And if you don't assimilate, you're outcast, you're a bad person, you're trying to kill my grandma, or whatever other nonsense that they fling at you. You can't work, just, let's go back a year ago. Let's go back a year ago, maybe even a little bit before that, where we had doctors, nurses, frontline staff who were out there working with people who were ill, right? Who were the heroes. Here in the UK, people were outside their houses banging pots and pans together for the NHS staff, the National Health Service staff, for doctors. All those brave nurses and doctors banging their pots and pans and clapping outside their houses in support of the NHS. Now, those very same people, and it's not just here in the UK, it's everywhere around the world. Now those very same people, if they're not willing to get that thing stuck in them, they're bad people. Oh, you want to kill me? You're a bad person. You need to be fired from your job. This is what fear does. This is what reliance on the state does. This is what listening to propaganda does to you. It fills you with fear and helps you to make shitty decisions that don't benefit you. Oh yes, but I need to keep my job, Chris. So your money, that's worth nothing, by the way, that piece of paper in your pocket that's got 10 on it or 20 written on it, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, it's worthless. Absolutely worthless. And that will become apparent over a very short space of time as well, as they keep on inflating the currency. I do apologise for the wind. As they keep on inflating the currency, which means it's devaluing your currency, which means it takes more of those dollars or pounds or wherever you live in the world to buy the same thing, it will become apparent just how worthless that thing is, that you have to give up your freedom, you have to give up your health choices, you have to give up everything and assimilate, or you won't have access to that anymore. Just like the Chinese credit score, where they can cut you off. In a digital society, if you don't toe the line, if you don't assimilate, if you don't do the right thing, that you can be cut off. Censored. Oh, you're not going to work. You won't be able to feed your family. You won't be able to, it's this fear. It's this fear tactic of making sure that people are put in their place to assimilate or die. You have a choice to make. Everybody does. And it's not my choice, it's not my place to make it for you. It's my role is to show people, or to question everything, and show that all these things that are taking place are there for one reason and one reason only, is to allow you, give you the choice to see what's going on and question it and go, but why is that going on? Why is this happening? Why is this constantly in my face? And it gives you that choice to look at it or don't look at it and ignore it. And everything that's happening, from the Mandela Effect to these pressures being put on people, is all there to help you see what's going on. But if you can't, if you're not capable of it, then you'll assimilate and, well, whatever happens, happens. The choice to see is always yours. The choice to question is always yours. Don't be pressured into something you don't want to do. And all you have to do is say, I do not comply. I refuse to comply. I'm not playing the game. And they have no power over you. That's what it's about. It's your choice. So, what choice are you going to make? It's up to you. It's not up to me. It's up to you. All I'm doing is questioning. Choice is yours. So, get out into the world. Do some good. Be good and do good, because that's how we change the world. We change the world through our thoughts, our actions, and the way we speak, and the way we interact with people. So do that. Go out there and share some positivity. Share this video if you think it's good. And if you don't, then don't. I don't really mind. It's up to you. But as always, the choice is yours. What you do with it really counts. So do something good. Do something positive. You can change the world. All right, love you all. Thank you so much for being here, one and all. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Ciao for now.